Hi, I'm Pat from Porter's, and today I'm going to teach you how to pour a tile board. Our tile boards are made from a piece of MDF wood that has been grooved to represent the grout in a ceramic tile line. Enviro-Tex has been at Porter's since about 2002, but it's an old product actually. When I was a little girl, I remember going to my uncle's house and watching him make clocks out of a big old piece of wood that he poured this thick, shiny stuff over it. Now I realize it was Enviro-Tex, and we're doing the same process on our pictures. Enviro-Tex enhances the pictures or whatever else it covers. So you can use a real photo, you can use a purchased card, or you can print your own photos onto photo paper, and they all work well. To start off with, when you take your tile board, the tile boards are cut with a table saw, so there's a little rough edge all around outside the edges. So the first thing you want to do is to sand that edge off. So just take a little piece of sandpaper and just run it inside each of those grooves. If you don't sand these little grooves off, when the board is painted, they get just a little bit bigger and thicker, and so your edges don't look quite as clean and as smooth. On the outside edge, just go around, and again, you're just knocking off those little hairy edges, and then just go over your points just a little bit so they're not too sharp. It makes just a much nicer edge when it's finished. After you have it sanded really good, you want to take a little piece of cloth and just dust off all of the sawdust. You want to make sure it's really clean. Make sure you get it out of the little grooves and off the edges. The next thing you're going to do is paint your tile board. Any good acrylic paint makes a great surface. You can use a sponge brush, or you can just use a regular craft board brush. You want to be careful and make sure that you get every little crack inside so that you don't have any bare spots left out. And you also need to paint the entire board. If you don't paint the whole board, sometimes the paper becomes quite opaque, and so a line underneath will show through on the paper after it's poured. So once you get your board painted, check all of your edges to make sure you don't have any cracks that show. Okay, and make sure that it's really dry before you go to pour it. Sometimes the paint tends to well up in these little cracks, and when you start to pour the Enviro-Tex, then the paint comes up into the surface of it. Okay, so now you've got your board all painted. Pick a color that is really complementary to what you're doing. I like to paint my boards with a darker color, something to give it a good base. Just look at the colors that are in your pictures, and you can see on this one, it kind of picks up the colors in the background. This one is actually we have just painted the edges a different color, and then it's just placed, and it's a little smaller.